You guys, I just had this cool visual insight that I needed to share with you. Okay, so I have been way into Benjamin Hardy's work the last year and a half or so. And one of the things he talks about all the time is that if we really want to improve our lives, we need to raise our standards. We need to raise the floor. Don't worry about the top thing, work on the floor. Now, Brian does talk about this from time to time. And in this particular note that was just released this week, he focuses on this idea. So if we go all the way down to the section on Emma's story, raise your bottom line. And Bill has Emma draw these 3 lines. I'm going to show you how this is working in my life right now, which is so cool because now I can understand deeply what they mean by this and the power of this, that truly our transformation isn't about closing the gap between our 90 to 100% of perfection. It's closing the gap between our floor and our prior best. So here's the example of like the very, very first line. He says, this is perfection, right? So the perfection then is that you're hitting the mark 100% of the time. My current goal with my fitness coach, which happens to be Darren Sahlquist, is that on a daily basis, I want to be able to hit 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 crunches. Well, when I first started to do this in June, I failed completely. I could not get consistency on the calendar across a week because when I'd missed the mark, I could not get myself to get back to this. It was just too big. So we actually lowered it to, I wanted to be able to do 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, and 50 crunches in a day. This now became my top day. My best day is when I can hit this. That's my best day. So now what we've got is that my floor, so consistently my floor, it started with 2 sets of 11 for each of these. So my floor became 22 for each of these, right? That was my floor. That was my floor in June. And by changing that standard, what I found on my calendar is that the consistency was there. I never missed a day then. When the floor was always, the ceiling, as we learned about from, what's his name? It's a silly name. I can't remember the book. Someone in this comment on it of Tiny Habits. Geis. Is it Stephen Geis or is it the other guy? I think it's the other guy. I don't remember. One name word. Anyways, that's when your floor and your ceiling match and there's no way to win, right? But when I lowered my standard to the floor, being 2 sets of 11 for each of these, I was able to hit it consistently in June then after that. So then in July, when I started doing it, I raised the floor to 33. So 3 sets of each of these, right? 3 sets of 11 for each of these. So now I've started to close this gap, right? So right now I'm at 33. And so in August, I'm going to see if I can get to 44 for each of them. So by focusing here, which is what they're talking about in this particular note, is focusing on those 3 lines, that we want to focus on closing the gap here. That's where we're going to get true transformation, because consistency is what's going to help us close that gap. If the only way I can win is by defining success by 100 a day, then I fail forever. And just like Scott Adams tells us, goals are for losers. I fail every day because I can't do that yet. So I had to focus on my floor, hit that consistently, raise the floor, hit that consistently, which I hit that in July consistently. So not this week, but the following week, I'm going to try to raise it here and see if I can hit that consistently. That's 4 sets of 11 of my push-ups, squats, and sit-ups. Anyways, this idea is so huge. Raise your bottom line, raise your standards. What's your floor? Can you close the gap between the floor and your prior best and start to show up more consistently rather than missing totally, right? So anyways, hope that's helpful. I found that to just be such a cool way to better understand floors and ceilings and where I really want to focus my energy, because when I focus here, I feel like a failure because I just can't get there yet. It takes a tremendous amount of effort and frustration to try to close this gap. Versus here, now I'm starting to make progress, and and I know through Coach, consistency. That's what it's all about. It's okay to suck. It's not okay to skip. Let's go, heroes.